Imagine walking outside on a summer evening and realizing something unusual. The mosquitoes aren't attacking you. They're gathering somewhere else. A simple bucket sitting in a quiet corner of the yard can become part of a mosquito control strategy, not by spraying your entire property with insecticide, but by taking advantage of how mosquitoes reproduce. And the most important part of this method has nothing to do with killing adult mosquitoes. It starts with water. Mosquitoes have a weakness that is easy to overlook. They need water to complete the early stages of their life cycle. That means the puddle underneath a flowerpot, water trapped inside an old tire, a clogged gutter, or a forgotten children's toy can become a miniature breeding site. You don't need a pond. Sometimes, a surprisingly small amount of water is enough. So before reaching for a spray bottle, walk around your property. Look at the places you normally ignore. Check plant sources. Check wheelbarrows. Look underneath tarps. Inspect gutters and downspouts. Look inside buckets and old containers. And pay special attention to tires. Anything capable of collecting rainwater deserves a second look. This simple habit is known as source reduction. And it is one of the most straightforward ways to reduce mosquito breeding around a home. The principle is simple. Don't wait for mosquitoes to become adults. Remove their nursery before they get there. But what about the water you can't easily remove? That's where biological larvicides such as BTI can be useful. BTI stands for Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. It is a naturally occurring bacterium used in mosquito control products. When mosquito larvae consume the bacterial proteins, those proteins become active in their digestive system and kill the larvae. That's very different from spraying a broad insecticide across your entire yard. BTI products are designed for specific types of aquatic insect larvae, particularly mosquito larvae, and are commonly used in standing water mosquito control. You'll find products such as mosquito bits and mosquito dunk sold for this purpose. But there's an important rule here. Follow the product label. Don't guess the dosage. Don't assume that more is better. And don't use a product somewhere the label doesn't permit. For standing water that cannot reasonably be eliminated, a properly labeled BTI product can be one tool in your mosquito control routine. Some homeowners also use a dedicated container to attract mosquitoes. The basic idea is to provide an artificial breeding site that can then be treated with an appropriate larvicide. If you use this approach, the container needs to be managed properly. A neglected container of untreated water can become exactly what you're trying to prevent, a mosquito breeding site. So the treatment and maintenance matter. The real strategy isn't simply put out a bucket. It's create a controlled site, treat it appropriately, and keep it maintained. Now let's deal with the mosquitoes that are already adults. Because eliminating breeding sites won't instantly remove every mosquito that is already flying around your yard. During the day, many mosquito species spend time resting in cool, protected areas. Think dense vegetation, shaded shrubs, spaces beneath decks, and other sheltered locations. That is why simply spraying the middle of an open lawn isn't necessarily the most effective approach. If you're using a commercially available mosquito control or repellent product, follow its instructions carefully and apply it only to locations permitted on the label. And be particularly careful around flowers. Your garden isn't just your garden. It's also a restaurant for bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. Natural does not automatically mean harmless to every insect. Essential oils and botanical products can have insect repellent properties, but they still need to be used responsibly. Avoid treating flowering plants while pollinators are actively visiting them, and follow the product's directions. There is another strategy that requires no spray at all. Make your property friendly to a healthy ecosystem. Birds, bats, frogs, dragonflies, and other predators all interact with the insect population around your home. They aren't a magic mosquito control machine, but a diverse ecosystem is generally more useful than trying to eliminate every insect you see. And that's where an old idea like a birdhouse can have value. For example, purple martins are famous in North America and are often associated with mosquito control. But don't believe every dramatic claim you see online. You may have heard that a single purple martin eats thousands of mosquitoes every day. That's an exaggeration. Mosquitoes aren't the main component of their diet. Still, purple martins are fascinating birds, and providing suitable habitat can add another useful species to your backyard ecosystem. Now let's return to the most important part of the entire strategy: your weekly inspection. Once a week during mosquito season, take a few minutes and walk around your property. You don't need expensive equipment. Just look. If you find standing water, ask yourself one question: can I eliminate this? If the answer is yes, get rid of it. Empty it. Turn the container upside down. Clean it. Move it somewhere protected from rain. If you can't eliminate the water, then determine whether a properly labeled mosquito larvae treatment is appropriate. That simple decision can prevent an enormous number of mosquitoes from ever reaching adulthood. And there is one location people frequently forget: the gutter. A gutter filled with leaves and debris can hold small amounts of water for days. That makes regular gutter maintenance part of mosquito prevention too. The same applies to downspouts. The same applies to bird baths. The same applies to rain barrels. The same applies to anything else around your property that repeatedly collects water. Think of your yard as a collection of tiny potential nurseries. Your job is to shut them down. Now, there is another old-fashioned approach people sometimes use outdoors: herbal smoke. Dried rosemary, sage, and other aromatic plants have traditionally been burned or smoldered as part of outdoor insect-repelling practices. But this is one area where common sense matters more than tradition. Smoke isn't a substitute for mosquito control. And anything involving fire can become dangerous very quickly. If you use a fire-based outdoor method, keep it away from dry grass, wooden structures, children, and animals, and never leave it unattended. The goal isn't to fill your yard with smoke. The goal is to create a comfortable outdoor space while reducing the conditions mosquitoes need to reproduce. And that brings us to the bigger lesson. You don't have to declare war on every insect in your garden. You don't need to cover every plant in chemicals. And you don't need to wait until you're being bitten before doing anything. Start at the beginning of the mosquito's life cycle. Water. Find it. Remove it. Manage what you can't remove. Then deal with adult mosquitoes using appropriate, labeled products and sensible environmental practices. That's a much more targeted approach. So here's your weekend project. Take 10 or 15 minutes and walk around your property. Empty the flowerpot saucers. Turn over unused containers. Check the gutters. Inspect the downspouts. Get rid of old tires. Look beneath tarps. Check toys and garden equipment. Look at every place where rainwater can collect. Then make a second list. Which water sources cannot be removed? Those are the places where you may want to consider an appropriate BTI product, following the manufacturer's instructions. You aren't trying to make your yard sterile. You're trying to make it difficult for mosquitoes to reproduce. Because sometimes the best pest control strategy isn't stronger chemicals. It's understanding the pest. And once you understand where mosquitoes begin their lives, you can start fighting the problem before they ever grow wings. If you discovered an unusual mosquito breeding spot around your home, share it in the comments. You might help someone else notice the same problem in their yard. And if you want more old-fashioned, practical ways to deal with everyday household pests, there's plenty more to explore. Sometimes the simplest solutions begin with something sitting quietly in your own backyard.